afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of The Edge on IC Radio. We're your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Who likes to travel? I do. Absolutely. A lot of folks are going to be going out for spring break. And then, sometime this summer, you'll probably go on a trip. Phil and I usually like to go somewhere usually around September, about the second week in September. Our wedding anniversary, we actually got married the first weekend. You know what holiday that is. So we find we can save about $500 or maybe even more money if we go on the trip for our wedding anniversary, either the week before or the week after. But I've got more hacks for you. These are found on this website, yardbarker.com. That's yardbarker.com. And what I have here are 20 essential travel hacks. Now, whether you're traveling for the holidays, you're planning a big vacation, you're going on a staycation, whatever you're doing, who doesn't love a hack that makes the process a whole lot easier? And I got some good ones. Living in Charlotte, North Carolina, I learned a lot from the airline, the flight attendants, and they would be giving me all kinds of travel hacks, all kinds of great ways to save money. So we're going to kind of share some of those. The travel can be stressful, but let's have a good time on the trip. Don't want to be stressful. Do a little bit of planning, a little creative thinking can also help you out there as well. So we're going to flip through these 20 essential travel hacks. You can choose the right dates to travel while avoiding crowds. And what's good as a vacation if you've got crowds all over the place, and how to organize your bag to make sure everything goes through the airport securely and everything is a total breeze. So let's go ahead and get started. Now you can have, and this, I would take advantage of this, okay? Airline loyalty programs like Delta Skylines and A Advantage can mean major benefits to frequent flyers. Now keep this in mind. It's often best to stick to one airline. If your favorite one is Delta, just stick with them all the time. And then that way all of the points will accumulate to that one airline. If you go from one to another, you'll lose all of that. Now, to maximize your miles, as you rack up the miles, you can redeem them for future travel, hotel stays, and a lot more. Use the last minute deal sites. This is number 2. Use the last minute deal sites to score cheap airfare and hotels. And let me let you in on this little secret. So we're living in Charlotte, the Charlotte International Airport, Charlotte, North Carolina. And so I was acquainted with a lot of flight attendants there. And so one day said, well, your wedding anniversary is coming up. And I said, yeah. I said, we're planning on going somewhere. We don't know where yet. And she said, you need to go ahead and start that now. She said, but I'm going to give you a tip. Airlines, and they accumulate, they call it their inventory. So they'll accumulate inventory of flights that are not taken. So what they like to do is give really good deals on those particular dates. And then that way it helps them out with inventory and it'll help you out with savings. But there are crucial days you need to remember. It's the early part of the week. That could be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. And another thing, you're going to have to stay up kind of late for this because usually that flips, and they flip their inventory around midnight, okay? So if you're planning on going to California somewhere, well, then you can check on California. And I'll tell you something else with Priceline. I like to use them. Priceline.com. And sometimes, even if you're not going to use the rental car, try it several different ways because you can put hotel and maybe air or stay in your hotel and add the car, whether you're going to use it or not. And sometimes you'll save even more money. Phil's birthday, we went for a birthday celebration, and it was in the early part of October a few years ago. And so I went to Priceline.com, and I tried this out on a Tuesday night, about midnight. You're not going to believe this. Each one of us, we stayed 3 nights. Each one of us cost $444. That included the hotel, the air, and also a rental car, but we didn't use the rental car. So $444. So you have to kind of play around with the numbers just a little bit, and then you'll get some good deals. And if you're the spontaneous type, which most of us are, last minute travel deals can save you a lot of cash. And that's what we're talking about with the inventory. So look to sites like Hotel Tonight and Hotwire for last minute fares, hotel stays, and most often those are discounted. Now, this is something else you need to really think about. Check your short-term rental for hidden fees, cleaning fees, and just weird rules. The popularity of AirKnob and Vrbo, we use Vrbo quite frequently. And I really like Vrbo because we really don't like to stay at a hotel. We'd rather stay at a house, like someone's house. One time we went to Ashland, North Carolina, and stayed at somebody's basement. And I'm going to tell you what, they had an outside. I mean, you didn't have to go through their house or anything like that. It was nicer than any hotel you would ever stay at. They had a kitchen, and we were actually snowed in that year. We met Brad and Larissa there, and we had so much fun. Had a lot of food there. It's a good thing I brought a bunch of food. We had probably the best vacation we ever had, and we were snowed in Asheville, North Carolina. But again, it was in someone's home, and it had like 3 bedrooms, full-size kitchen, 2 bathrooms, I believe, and a living room, and it was nice. And it was cheaper than any hotel, and you had all the privacy that you would want. So this popularity has grown really, really in recent years for using Vrbo, and so have the fees for staying in some of these properties. Before you book your short-term rental, just take stock of all the cleaning fees, resort fees, and taxes you'll have to pay in addition to the nightly rate. Now, this is something I do. So when I go to Vrbo.com, and let's say I wanted to stay in Asheville, North Carolina again, and I put that date, and the date and the time that I would like to arrive, and how many adults, and that kind of thing. I always check I want to find the lowest price first, so you can have it to rotate that way. Now, sometimes it may have the lowest rate. It may say, $75 a night or $50 or whatever a night. But when you get in there and start looking at that property, they could have added like a huge cleaning fee on there. So just because that's what it says the nightly rate is, it may not be. So go ahead and check that out, okay? Because you may be paying a lot more than you thought you were going to pay, but those are good sites. They really are. And travel during shoulder season. Now, this is number 4 of 20. I'm going to have to get with it, aren't I? So traveling during shoulder season, and what is shoulder season? We're going to talk about that. One of the best travel hacks is also the easiest. Travel a little earlier or a little later than your destination's peak season. That's what I was telling you about. Phil and I were married on Labor Day weekend. I never want to go anywhere on Labor Day weekend. You can save about $300 or $400 or more, again, if we go the week before or the week after. A quick Google search will tell you when the peak season is. You can also plan to go just a few weeks before it begins to avoid the crowds in popular destinations. I tell you what I'd rather do. If instead of saying, say, in Nashville, I'd rather go stay in some smaller community or smaller town close to Nashville. And then you'll get a much better rate. And then if you want to get your rental car and then drive to Nashville, you can do that for a night on the town. So that's just one thing I like to do. Now, another thing is keep a copy of your passport or other ID on your phone. This is number 5. Accidents can happen when you're traveling, so sometimes that means losing your identification. You don't want to do that. Take a photo of your passport's ID page in case of a mishap. Consider taking pictures of other essential documents like travel itineraries and health insurance cards if you're worried about losing them. And I keep those. I keep pictures of all of that stuff. And also, I like to do everything online anyway, because let's say you use Priceline.com. And maybe I've lost the itinerary. Well, they've sent me an email. Just don't delete that email until after the trip. So if I need to look at something, I can look at it really quick. Okay. Number 6, use compression bags or packing tubes to maximize your packing space. Never thought about that. So what you can do is available with or without the vacuuming. What am I doing? Right here. Okay, packing cubes are also a great option. But let me tell you something Brad did. We went to, it was a missionary trip to Africa a few years ago. Got a really good price on that. Otherwise, I couldn't have afforded that. So the 3 of us went. And so on the way there and on the way back, what we did, we went to a thrift store. So you could go to like Shepherd's Cove Thrift Shop, located on Highway 431 in Albertville. And so we bought a bunch of clothes. And so what we all did, or I didn't, I liked them, so I kept them, most of the clothes. Instead of having to take so much stuff back, it was like almost a 3-week destination there. And I mean, 3 weeks is a long time. 3 weeks is a lot of clothes you got to pack too. So what we did is we left most of the clothes there for the folks in the village. And it was so funny. We were in Antibes, I think is where it was. Went to the Antibes airport, and Brad saw somebody who had an Alabama shirt on. It was like Alabama Roll Tide shirt. So apparently, some folks went on missionary trips and left Alabama shirt, and one of those guys out there who lived in the village had that Alabama shirt on. We just thought that was funny. But anyway, you can leave all the clothes. Then you'll have lighter bags to take home, unless you're going to buy a whole lot of souvenirs. So think about that. Okay, now, when possible, just bring a carry-on. Okay, it's because I'm telling you what, they'll weigh that big package, big luggage, and people aren't dressing up like they used to do anyway. So, like light shirts and jeans and stuff like that can be the way to go. You won't have as much. But if you'll roll up your clothes like Brad does, the clothes won't get as wrinkled, and you'll be able to pack more into your luggage. So, checking bags means waiting on luggage. And then paying fees and potentially dealing with a lost suitcase. That's happened to me before when you arrive at your destination. Consider packing lightly and going carry-on only for easy airport experience. I like that. Now, don't carry like this great big suitcase and expect them to let you carry that on. That's just not going to happen. So anyway, that's just another great advice right there. Now, organize your bag for going through a security breeze, okay? But I will say this. One time I was it was a New York business trip. And so I had my bag packed, and you know how you'll put your handbag in the little box, and then it goes through this x-ray machine. So they pulled me over to the side. And so I asked the lady, and they're all business, you know what I mean? They're not a bit friendly. And they have to be, I understand why. And so I said, so she gets my handbag and she runs with it. And then she comes back, and I said, what was in my bags? I knew that I didn't carry anything sharp, and I didn't even bring nail clippers. I brought nothing that I thought they would want to identify. It was my eyeshadow. I had some eyeshadow in there. And I said, do I need to even ask? And she said, no, don't ask. But they were checking people's eyeshadow for that reason. I don't know, some kind of a security check. But anyway, mine was okay. So make sure you organize your bag to make the security a breeze. If you go to the general boarding line, you know you're going to have to remove some items from your bag for security screening in the airport. So organizing your bag so that the items you'll need to remove, like your laptop, maybe a bag of liquids, are easy accessible to speed up the screening process, and you're not ticking everybody else off in the back. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's just a really good thing to do right there as well. Okay, splurge on TSA pre-check. Splurge. I never do that. So let's talk about that for a minute. You can skip that hassle and drop the $78 for 5 years of TSA pre-check. Oh, I didn't know about that. Okay, you'll be able to use the pre-check line. You won't have to remove your shoes or your laptop and make it through security much faster. So, let's see. It's called TSA pre-check. I'll check up on that a little bit later and let you know what that's about. Okay. This is number 10 of 20. Download all of the travel apps you'll need in advance. Before heading to the airport, to ensure you have all the apps that you need. That includes the app for the airline's boarding passes, translator apps. It's a good idea, especially if you're going aboard, and currency converters that will be essential when you land at your destination. Absolutely do that. That's a great idea. What would we do without apps? I mean, apps are really making life a lot easier for Apple and Android phones. This is a grand idea. I like this one. Never leave home without a rechargeable power bank. That's good. And you can get them for like almost nothing. You can go to Amazon. That website you see down there, Amazon, that's hours for the station and for the show. You can go to that Amazon website and get a really good deal on a rechargeable power bank. Now, take a rechargeable power bank, even if your cell phone is fully charged and you're just heading out for a short trip. It takes up just a little bit of space. I've got one, and it's about like maybe 3 inches by about 2 inches, if it's even that big. It'll only take up a little space, and it'll come in handy if you wind up in a situation where the battery is on just like 1% and you'll need help. Now, think about this. Okay, so you're going on a trip somewhere, And this never fails. You're sitting in an airport forever. You have nothing to do. You forgot to bring your book. There are no books there in the airport, but you've got your cell phone. You start playing solitaire. You start playing games on your phone. Before you know it, guess what? You've used up all of your cell phone chargeable in your battery. So that, again, that's another good reason to do that. I mean, what do you do when you get bored? You start playing with your cell phone. But be really careful about that. Okay, I didn't know you could do this. But this one, this is number 12 of 20. And this is bring a portable fan for both white noise and to stay cool. Let's see what that means. Many people sleep poorly when they travel, and bringing a fan can seriously help. Use it to keep cool during the night or just a little white noise while trying to fall asleep in a strange place. We have the hydroponics, and it's like this little garden unit. And I really love it. And I'm going to tell you something, we have it on the other side of our bedroom. And it's like a waterfall. I can fall asleep so fast. But when this thing starts pumping up water and it starts dripping and going down through those tubes through the plants, you'll fall asleep. I mean, you will. But that's a great idea about that fan right there. I know a lot of times you travel abroad, we used to all this luxury with air conditioning and stuff like that. But some places you go in the summertime, it's not that fun. I mean, it's going to be really hot. They don't keep the air conditioning up really. Actually, I kind of like it, so I don't like air conditioning up really high anyway, even in the summertime. But you have to think about those things. And also, if you're traveling international, they don't use the same plug-ins to the wall sockets we use. So make sure that you have those as well, because if you wait until you get there, they know you're a tourist and it's going to cost you a lot more. So that's just something else to think about. Make sure that you tip the folks at the hotel. If your hotel accepts the tips, talk to them. Hotels are often experts in the cities that they work in, and they'll be able to tell you the best restaurants, the best sightseeing, and the tourist traps to avoid. So when you get checked in, give them some money for a tip. And first of all, it's going to be worth it, because believe me, instead of getting a rental car and driving around all over Kingdom Come, and sometimes you're paying by the mile on that, instead of doing all that kind of stuff, ask the person, make friends with them and ask them the best places. And I tell you what, if you'll tip them, they will just go overboard making sure that you're taken care of. No problem there whatsoever. Okay, I've still got some time. But anyway, talk to the person at the front desk. They'll give you the best sightseeings and all those great things. Okay, don't exchange currency in the airport. This is number 14 of 20 right here. Airport ATMs and currency exchanges tend to have terrible exchange rates. So it's best to get cash elsewhere if you're headed to an international destination. And you can do that. I know that if you're going to Mexico, you can go to Walmart, and they'll be able to do that for you as well. I think every Walmart, because we have a lot of folks who are from Mexico who are living here in America now, and they send money over to Mexico. So I don't think the exchange rates would be near as expensive as it would be if you wait till you get to the airport. So that's just something looking at for you, okay? Okay, number 15. Ubers and rental cars are going to take advantage of public transportation. Most definitely, we're going to do that. Ubers, rental cars, and taxis can get really pricey, but if your destination has a great public transit, you can save a ton of cash. So scoop out the subway or bus system before you head out. Use apps like Google Maps to plan your routes to make navigating with this new transit systems a little less stressful. Now, let me tell you something. We're from Alabama, okay? And sometimes we move around a little bit slower than people in New York do. But if you'll learn to move faster when you're going, and we took the subways, and it was a lot cheaper than using the taxis. And you didn't have to fuss and fight with them and pay them so much. You got to pay, they really want to be paid high tips. And so we took the subway for the most part. So if you get a map of the subway, and it's the same in Chicago, they had subways too. And I'll tell you the truth, I don't want to go to New York. I don't want to go to, I just wanted to go because of business trips and what have you. Chicago, wanted to go get a Chicago pizza. So that's the reason we went. I like going out into the country. I know I live in the country anyway. I like to go somewhere where I can relax, not be around a whole bunch of people bumping over me, running over me, and what have you, and just be out somewhere and just fish. And just that's what we're going to do when our wedding anniversary comes up. We'll probably go somewhere in Tennessee and just take us a little fishing trip and be gone for a few days. That's really nice. It really is. Or maybe even go up to the mountains of Tennessee. That's always a good thing to do. Georgia has some awesome destinations, and you know what? State of Alabama does too. If you like the beach, go South Alabama. You'll be in a whole different world. Okay, let's see. We talked about the subway. I'm about ready to go into a commercial break. Check to see if rental cars are cheaper at locations further away from the airport. It's often true that car rentals are more expensive at the airport than other outposts of the company of the city that you're visiting. So check rates at multiple locations of Hertz or Enterprise when you travel, and if you frequently find a better rate by taking a bus or Uber to a location further away from the airport. That's true. However, Priceline.com. If you go to Priceline.com, usually you can get it about the same price as at the airport, and it's going to be a whole lot cheaper right there. You're at the airport. I'm going to disagree with this one. So you're already at the airport. It's going to be a whole lot better. Okay, invest in a luggage scale. I think this is a grand idea right here. A luggage scale is a must if you frequently travel with checked luggage. Checked baggage. It can help you determine if your bag is too heavy to travel or if you have to pay a fee for overweight luggage. I've had to do that before. That's another reason why when you go on a trip and it's an extended trip, it could be Africa, it could be anywhere, and you want to leave clothes for for folks, like before you get ready to check out of the hotel, you want to go to a thrift store or ask the hotel manager if he can donate your clothes. Usually they will, and maybe to a shelter or something like that. So again, go to the thrift store, buy your clothes, and then leave them there. And you're helping some folks, and you're saving money too. And guess what? You're probably not going to pay that extra $20 also, for the luggage because it weighs too much. But this will help you right here. Okay, now pack a first aid kit into your carry-on. This is number 18 of 20. This is a must. Things can happen. You're going to eat weird food, so make sure you get those little Pepto-Bismol tablets. You got to have stuff like that. But injuries and illnesses during travel are the worst, so everyone should travel with a small first aid kit in the carry-on bag. Fill it with essential medications. And if you can find the little travel sizes, that's even better. Like pain relievers, anti-nausea pills, and other essentials like bandages and acid tablets, like I just said, and hand sanitizers. That's absolutely a must. Now let me tell you something about this is about sanitary conditions, and even here I do this. So if you go to a public restroom, I've seen too many people not wash their hands on the way out, and they handle the doorknobs, they handle everything in there. Okay, so I always like to do this. I always like to get some of the toilet paper, and your hands of course are clean, toilet paper to handle the doorknob, and then I use my foot, kind of kick my foot out to the door, and then I throw the toilet paper or paper towel or whatever I've got in the trash, and then I'm out the door. I mean, you can, even here, even right here in Geraldine, Alabama, I do that. So some people just don't watch it. Okay, fill your phone or your tablet with TV, movies, and music before taking off. There was a time, and I'm talking to young people right now, there was a time you could go to the airport, and it was just kind of really weird. You could go to the airport, and what was amazing is they would actually show movies. Yeah, they would they'd have the screen pulled down, and you would watch a full-size movie. I don't think they do that anymore. So you got your cell phone, and again, you got to travel one of those little travel packs now for your battery in case you run it down. But being stuck without Wi-Fi can be really boring, especially for a long flight. So spend a little time heading to the airport, downloading movies, TV, and books to your tablet or your phone from your favorite streaming services. Like you can go to Amazon and get their streaming services, and you'll be thankful when you're stuck in the terminal after an unexpected delay. That is the truth. I'm just telling you. Take advantage of translation apps if you're traveling abroad. This is 20 of 20. Okay, even if you speak a little of the language of the country that you're visiting abroad, a translation app can come in handy when there's a language barrier. So what you can do is download the Google Translate, and you can use it when you struggle to communicate with someone. That is an awesome idea. Okay, let's go ahead and cut into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes. So y'all hang in there, okay? The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Begin a great year and save big money with these specials at Albertville Foodland Plus. A 5-pound bag of red or gold potatoes only $2.99 each. Warm up with Campbell's Chunky Soup, 2 for $4. Slim down with gold salads, only $2.99 each. And make sure to check out the deli with fresh veggies and tasty pork chops or hand-battered chicken fingers, only $5.99. Check us out on the web at shop.foodlandgrocery.com.